Welcome to Dom's Whiteboard strategy session, where we break down the deals, details, creative strategies, and all the things that you want to know to become a successful investor in today's market. Okay, so today we're going to go over a case study for a wrap. And if you haven't watched our wrap strategy whiteboard session, I encourage you to do it. It'll make a lot more sense. Before you watch this video, I will link that video probably right here for you to go ahead and watch, and then come back to this one after you're done doing so. If you just came from that video, welcome back. If you're still watching this video, let's get right into it. So we're going to go over a case study of a property I bought in Tampa about almost 3 years ago now. I bought it subject to, and if you don't know what subject to is, I made a whole video about that as well. So please go ahead, watch that video, come back. Hope to see you when you are capable of understanding what it is that we're about to go over. So our subject property right here, also in Tampa, Florida, has a nice little 2.75% rate. Now, this rate, we'll never ever see that again. Mark my words here. Today is October 6th, 2025. Watch this in 10 years. We'll never see this interest rate ever again as long as we live, I promise you that. So I took over this property subject to, it had a $290,000 mortgage at the time. And I was into the property for about 40,000 bucks. So my all in was about $330,000 into this property. So that's the mortgage plus my in on the property equals this right here. So my total amount is $330,000. What I did was I went and I found a buyer for this deal, someone who didn't or couldn't or didn't want to qualify for another mortgage through traditional means. They don't want to deal with banks. Banks take forever. There's appraisals, contingencies, inspections, all of these hoops to transact real estate with banks that just take forever. And they're just so difficult for so many people. So this individual wanted to bypass all that. We'll call him Tom. Tom decided to buy this property from us on a wrap, where he paid $400,000 for this house. So you'll already notice that I created $70,000 of equity for myself upfront on this deal that didn't exist prior to that. In addition, our buddy Tom put down a $50,000 down payment on this house, leaving him with a $350,000 mortgage. So you will notice that this number is greater than this number. So that cancels that out, and now I am into this deal for positive $10,000. So before this house even starts cash flowing on a wrap strategy, I've already made $10,000 because Tom's down payment is $50,000 versus my $40,000 down payment. $10,000 spread right off the bat. Now, this $350,000 mortgage is at 7% interest. You will recall that my $290,000 mortgage is at 2.75% interest. So the spread is a $60,000 spread already. So remember, I already got my initial $40,000 back. We canceled that out with this here and actually made 10. But now we have an additional $60,000 of equity that we've created between this number here and this number here. So this is later money that's going to increase over time as this mortgage amortizes on both my end and his end. Remember, my 2.75% is going to amortize way quicker than his 7%. He is going to build equity in this property at a much slower rate than I'm going to build equity in this property. So this spread is going to continue to increase over time. And so what the actual numbers, roughly, of this deal and how it works out is that his payment, this spread between these two interest rates generates $11.50 a month in cash flow spread that I get in my pocket like clockwork every single month from his mortgage versus my mortgage. And that is the power of wraps. I get all of this cash flow every single month. I get all this equity up front. My pay down is faster than his pay down. And he still gets a house that he didn't have to qualify for through bank financing. This is actually better than today's rates. Today, he might get a higher rate than that. 7 is probably pretty in line or even a little bit lower than today's rates in terms of what he'd get from a bank without having to jump through all those hoops. So he made out on this deal, Tom. He owns the asset, and I made out on this deal because I have that cash flow, I have that equity, and I have that great rate. This is the give and take of why the wrap strategy is so powerful for everyday Americans and investors today. There is so much more we can go into here about the mechanics of how this works, but that would be out of the purview of this video. I will do several videos explaining the mechanics of how this works, the mechanics of how you can implement that in your own deals, and I cannot wait for you to check out the rest of the information about the strategy because it is so important for our mission. It is so important for everything that we have going on, and it is such a powerful win-win solution for both myself, the investor, and Tom, the buyer. So if you're interested in learning more about this strategy, make sure to stay tuned for more videos. There will be a lot. Like, comment, subscribe if you loved what you saw today. If you hated what you saw today and said you never ever want to implement this strategy, I want to hear why. So I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.